What is up, people? Happy Thursday, motherfuckers. Oh, I am in a good mood, which hasn't happened in a while. The sun is shining. I'm off work. I now have 4 days off work. Nobody gonna let me out. My mood may dissipate very quickly because no fucker is gonna let me out. Okay, I take that back. Thank you, blue car. I am in a very good mood. The sun's shining. It actually feels like summer, although I know it's meant to rain the weekend, so I'm going to make the most of this. I have caffeine in my system. I've got more caffeine down by the side of me, and we're going to do pull. We're going to get a meaty back pump and arms, and I can't fucking wait. I am in a good mood. The vibes are it today, people. Yeah. But that is not the purpose of this video. Or it is. I always try and bring good vibes, sometimes bad vibes, who knows. But the purpose of this video, once I've achieved my wonderful back pump and arm pump, is I want to go into a bit of a discussion with you, and the topic of today is going to be, do you need to count calories to lose fat? Because the answer is probably going to surprise you, especially if you're a beginner. But I've been asked this quite a lot by quite a few of my clients, because I've had clients who like to count calories and they feel a bit more in control. I've had clients who don't like to count calories because it can send them a bit frenzy and it's very easy to get obsessed. So I've seen both sides of the spectrum with it. But I'm going to go into detail with it. But first, I want to go to the gym, achieve a wonderful back pump, make all my wrongs right, and probably obliterate my heart even more with the amount of caffeine I'm about to consume. So, see you at the bar. Alright, this is going to be my first weekend set. I've got 50 asides, we're going for unilateral, and we're going for 6 to 10. I'm not sure how I'm feeling yet, so this could go either way. But I'm in a good mood, so the vibes are there. Right, it's going to be my second working set, and this is going to be my heaviest. So it's a 60 aside. I'm going again, 6 to 10. I'm probably going to get around the 6-7 mark. But we're going to give it everything I got, because I'm not a little bitch. Thanks. I'm counting that as 10. I had to reset my grip on the 8th because I have got chalk on, but my grip was slipping. But I'm still happy with that. Thanks. And the same with that hand, but at least I know my grip. My grip strength is the same on both arms. 8, moving on to underhand unilateral flat pull down today. I used to really struggle with the mind to muscle connection on this, but the more I'm doing it and more I'm focusing on my form, I'm really starting to feel it more. So the one thing, especially if you struggle to feel the lats, especially in this type of movement, the one thing I really try and advise you do is, when you've got your arm up, imagine someone pushing your elbow and your shoulder inwards, so you're internally rotating, and really try and keep a focus on keeping it there and really squeezing down, and I find that helps a lot. Last set was a little bit too light, so I've got an altitude 30 aside. This is gonna be humbling. It is that time of the week again when it's time to barbell row. I don't know what weight I'm going to go up to today. I'm still really trying to focus on form, especially because I hurt my back a couple of weeks ago and I don't really want to kind of pull it again. So I'm a bit apprehensive doing these. I'm going to try and work up to a moderate weight. I might not even go up. We'll see how this feels. And if I feel like my back's going to snap in half again, then we are not going to go any heavier. I may be stupid, but I'm not dumb. I take it back. I am dumb because I'm going to go heavier. 55, okay, so I'm going to do 60, and I'm not going to go any higher. I'll drop it back down and go for higher reps after. Let's see how this feels. It's been a while since I've gone heavy-ish. This isn't even heavy, but it is for me right now. Right, so we're moving on to seated incline curl. I'm keeping it fairly light because my forearm is still fucked. So, yeah, still no better. But I've got a hospital appointment soon, so I'm hoping things are going to get sorted. May need a new arm, who knows? So this is going to be my first working set. We're going to do 2 heavy sets. I'm going to drop the weight down and we're going to do a higher volume set. So I'm back in the car now, and I just want to kind of go into the topic of, do you need to count calories to lose weight? And the basic answer is no. And before you all kick off at me, oh, blah, 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 counting calories, I am a big advocate for. Counting calories is like using tracing paper when you're learning to draw. It's like having a driving instructor when you're learning to drive. It helps you see and identify the mistakes you're making. It helps you learn the basics. So when you're counting calories, it really opens your eyes on, you know, what calorie quantity of foods, the calories of foods. It kind of opens your eyes with how much you're consuming. When you start weighing things, you'll see what an actual portion size is. And I think everyone, as a beginner, should count calories because it helps you learn the basics and it's a tool you can use. I have been counting calories on and off for years, and I probably coming up to 10 years. Don't use it all the time, but if I want to lose weight, it's a good tool to use. I've also done it without counting calories. But I understand not everyone wants to, but it's a good tool to use. And I think as a beginner, you should learn to count calories because it really educates you on the calories of things, the nutritional value of things. And you're going to learn where you're going wrong very quickly. And as the more and more you use it, especially if you like routine and you like to eat the same foods every day, like I do, so I don't really change my food up that often. But if you like to eat the same foods every day, you're going to know very quickly what you can have in a calorie deficit, and then you're not going to need to weigh or count calories the next time you use it. You're going to know, I can have this, I can have this, I can have this, and so on. That is the kind of basic. As a beginner, you should count calories. I really do advocate for it, but I understand not everyone wants to, or people can't because of certain problems, conditions, especially if you've had eating disorders. It's probably not viable. And some people just don't want to. I don't want to at times. It can feel, especially if you've done it for a long time, it can feel very restrictive. It can get very mundane and boring very quick. But it is a very useful tool to have. And if you don't want to count calories to lose weight, you haven't got to. People seem to think being in a calorie deficit and counting calories or logging your macros and food is the same. It is not. You can be in a calorie deficit without counting calories, but if you are new or you're uneducated, you may find it harder to know how you're in a calorie deficit. To know if you're in a calorie deficit, should I say. Some people, if all they've ate is junk food and they've been eating a lot, some people might just swap to 3 meals a day, 2 meals a day, and they're automatically putting themselves in that calorie deficit, especially if you've swapped from, I say junk food, calorie dense food. So if you've gone from eating more processed foods and you've gone to more natural foods, like, I don't know why I paused there, but like fruit, veg, if it had a mum and dad, or if it's come from the ground, you're going to find it harder to overconsume on. And that's going to automatically put you in a calorie deficit. People fast. Again, you're limiting your eating window, and provided you are not making not smart choices in your eating window, you can put yourself into a calorie deficit that way, because again, you're shortening your eating window. So you don't need to count calories. They can go hand in hand, but they're not exclusive to each other to lose weight. So yeah, because counting calories can be your maintenance, it can be for a surplus or a deficit, and people seem to forget that. But if you are new to counting calories or fat loss or that kind of game in general, you may find it hard to find your calorie deficit. That's why people are like, oh, I'm eating in a calorie deficit, but I'm not losing weight. You're probably not in a you're not in a calorie deficit. If you're not losing weight, you're not in a calorie deficit, and you're going wrong somewhere. And it can be very simple to kind of underestimate your kind of your servings, your portions, your weighing. If you're not weighing, that's going to be a big one. Counting your condiments, your sauces, your sugars in your tea, stuff like that, snacks in between. So it is very hard to kind of gather if you are in a calorie deficit without actually tracking. That's why I always advise tracking, even if it's just for a couple of weeks at the start, so you can kind of get a grip on what you're consuming, what you need to consume, and that's going to really set you up going forward. But if you don't want to count calories, that's fine. You haven't got to. But it may just take more kind of working out and guessing, and a lot of more guesswork to kind of find out where your calorie deficit is, and it's going to be a bit more trial and error. But that's not a problem. You know, everything is learnt by trial and error. By making mistakes is how we learn where we went wrong and what we need to do going forward. So yeah, what I would suggest is, if you don't want to count calories, try and stay towards more natural and whole based foods. So again, your fruit, veg, your meat, fish. This is going to be a lot harder to overconsume on, and your meals around protein. So again, as a standard, you want kind of palm-based measurement of protein. That should be your biggest serving. Protein is going to be key here. It's going to help keep you satiated, and it's good for your gains in the gym as well, people. And we need it. But that's a whole different other story. Fruit and veg is going to be your best friend in this, and protein. It's so much harder to overconsume. You are going to fill up everything whole and natural is a lot more voluminous in regards to volume to calorie ratio, so you're going to find it harder to overconsume without feeling full. Put it this way, you're going to feel full. Try eating 500 calories in apples to 500 calories in chocolate and see which one you get full on quicker, because I can assure you you're going to struggle to eat 500 calories in apples. Whereas a chocolate bar, it's going to go down easy and you're going to want more. You can do, a lot of people do 1 meal a day. They find it easier to do that. You can do 2 meals a day. You can do 3 meals a day. Plan out your snacks as well. So if you know you get snacky at certain times in the day, so I usually get a bit more picky on the night, then maybe pre-plan what you're going to have with your snack. So you don't go on spur of the moment, because making choices on a empty stomach or cravings is always a bad idea. So try and pre-plan. You can fast, aka you can skip breakfast and shorten your eating window. That is going to be your best start. You don't have to track calories. You don't. I have clients that track, I have clients that don't. I have done a mixture of both, and sometimes it's a good mental break. If you're a beginner, tightening up your strings with kind of how you're eating and what you're eating, you're probably going to see progress in the first instance anyway. A lot of it will be water weight if you are used to eating, you know, very calorie dense foods, but that's okay. That always happens initially. Cutting out full fat pop soda for anyone that's not in the UK. So, you know, your Coke, your Pepsi, going on to zero sugar. That's going to hold a lot of calories in the full fat versions. So just switching to zero sugar is going to make a big difference. But they are going to be your basics. Don't overcomplicate it. Fat loss is not complicated. It can be hard if you are uneducated, but it's not complicated at all. It's just when people start to overthink and people are like, oh, we need to consider this, you need to consider this. You don't need to really consider anything. You just need to consider, you need to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. That's it. Anyone who tells you don't, they're idiots. They're fucking idiots. You need to be in a calorie deficit. How you be in a calorie deficit is going to be down to the individual. Like I said, some people like keto, some people do the carnivore diet. I don't know why, but they do. Some people fast, some people do 1 meal a day, some people do 2 meals a day. It's going to be a lot of trial and error to see what you like, especially as a beginner. My biggest tip is do something that you can see yourself doing long term, because you don't want to do it and then stop, and then you're going to binge and regain all that weight, and then you're going to have to do it again. If you can't see yourself doing it long term and it doesn't sustain in your life and it doesn't fit in your life comfortably, then it's making you miserable, it's probably not ideal for you. There's plenty of options out there. You just got to find one that suits you and works with you best. But a big thing to remember is don't cut out everything you love. While I say try and stick to whole foods, you can have a treat. Life is going to suck if you don't have the things you love. It's not what you eat, it's how much you eat is going to be the biggest problem here. And if you completely remove everything you love from your diet, you're going to get miserable quick and you're not going to stick to it long term. And on the back end of this, if you're not going to stick to it long term, you're going to crave more, you're going to binge, and you're going to end up back where you started. And that's not something you want to promote, is that kind of over restrict, binge, repeat cycle, because that can get very messy very quick. So enjoy the things you love in moderation, include them in your diet, but just be mindful of how much you're consuming. It's not what you consume, it's how much you consume, and that's what you need to realise. So yeah, that is kind of it. There's a lot of I'm very tired. I've just finished at the gym. I'm neither here nor there at the minute. I need food and water. So yeah, that is kind of the basics of how to lose weight without counting calories, as it's not for everyone. I advise, if you're a beginner and you're kind of on the fence, give it a go, even if it's just for a week. It's going to open your eyes, if nothing else, on what you're consuming, on what you need to consume. And it is, if anything else, it's educational. You know, as a society, not many people, the general public, aren't very educated on nutrition and food values, and it's something everyone could do with being educated on. A lot of problem and a lot of weight gain comes down to not knowing what's in our food and how much we consume. It's all right putting the serving sizes on packages, but nobody fucking listens to that. Neither do I. But if you're aware of what is in your food and what you're consuming, it's going to make you a little bit more mindful. But if you have any more questions, or you want a bit more of an in-depth video, let me know and I will do one, and I can break it down a little bit more. But that's just kind of a little bit of an overview and my viewpoint as a coach who has clients who do both, and I've done both myself, so I have the experience. So yeah, that is it. Thank you for watching. I'm going to go home and shower and eat protein and nap. And I will see you tomorrow for a push day. Let's go.